Regardless of what your walking challenge is, I have a set of exercises for you that can help. Whether it's walking with duck feet, an anterior pelvic tilt, leaning forward, slouching, or any number of other incorrect walking styles, you can make steady improvement if you can feel the correct movement patterns coming from your core and slowly incorporate them into your body memory. Hi everybody, Dr. Todd Martin here with The Walking Code. There are so many different patterns of walking that are incorrect, and each one of them leads to misalignments in the spine, incorrect weight distribution on the joints, and heavier impact when we walk. These can all lead to early wear and tear in the body, and we can correct these issues or prevent them by learning the patterns of core movement that allow us to walk fluidly, walk with more confidence, and walk with lower impact on your joints. Many people comment to me that they have trouble recognizing the rotations of the waist which lead to proper walking technique. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. First of all, when we rotate, we are moving the spine along with the rotation. So you can't feel the body rotate around the spine as you would if the spine were stationary. When the spine goes with the rotation, you can't feel it happening, but it is still there. One of the other reasons that you can't feel the rotation happening is that we are not walking against resistance. We can feel a muscle tighten if I were to put a weight in my hand and tighten the bicep to bring the weight up. You can feel the bicep contract because it's moving against resistance. But when I have an empty hand and I flex my arm, I can't really feel my bicep doing anything. All I can do is appreciate that the arm is flexing. And it's the same thing when we walk. We don't have a weight resisting our movement. So as we rotate the spine, we don't feel the muscles contracting. This can make it very difficult to gain awareness of the rotations of the upper waist and the lower waist and the movements of the hip that we do in every step that we take that make the movements possible. It's also why most people aren't even aware that they are rotating the waist at all, and that rotation is critical to our movement. In this video, I have some exercises for you using what I call the inner circle walk that are going to allow you to feel these waist rotations much more acutely and also allow you to pause with each phase of the step so you can check your position and then really feel the next motion that you're going to need to initiate to make the exercise happen properly. From the exercise, we're also going to transition into a normal step, helping to allow you to really feel how the upper waist, the lower waist, and the hip actions are incorporated into every step. While you're watching, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber, and share the video with others. I also encourage you, if you've been watching my channel for a while and getting some benefit, to click on that thanks button and show your support. I promised a long time ago that I was going to keep all of my content free, so I don't really post videos on my members only channel, which people have to pay for, because I don't want people to miss out on the ability to learn and improve the way they move just because they can't afford to pay for content. I also give a special shout out to my subscriber Brian, who's showed great support with that super thanks button. Thank you, Brian. Now let's go ahead and get started. This exercise is going to help you feel the rotation of the upper waist muscles that we use when we're walking and help to swing the arms, as well as to feel the rotation of the lower waist muscles that help root the leg that we're standing on and help pull the body towards that leg during the gait cycle. The benefit of this inner circle walk is that we're going to be able to feel the rotation because of the tight circle, and we're also going to be able to pause during each phase of the movement because we're not going to be constrained by the momentum from gravity that happens when we're walking forwards that prevents us from stopping in one position to check what's going on. We're going to begin with the feet together, good posture, and eyes gazing forward. And then we're going to shift our weight to our right leg, step out with the left leg, shift the weight towards the left leg, then transfer all of the weight to the left leg, and your right knee should come up and face out at an angle about 30 to 40 degrees. Then you're going to turn your upper waist towards that right leg, placing on the heel. This is position number 1 of the inner circle. We're going to begin to walk in a tight circle around this position using rotation of the waist. First, shift your weight and then step around. Shift the weight, step around, shift the weight, step around, shift the weight, step around. Now I'll do it without talking. And then we're going to stand to exit. You can also do this movement stepping out with the right leg, changing weight, and then stepping around in a counterclockwise circle. Now let's explain the core movements that we're doing to create the circle and help you to feel what's going on with all 3 elements of the core: the upper waist rotation, lower waist rotation, and then the hip actions. We'll start the explanation after we step out and shift our weight. We're going to shift to empty stance, meaning we're going to release one leg completely from the ground by turning the upper waist towards the standing leg while flexing our right hip. The free leg is the right leg. The upper waist and lower waist are going to be turning to the left or counterclockwise. So take your arm and use your upper rib cage and turn it around to the left, counterclockwise. You can really feel that rotation. And then you're using your lower abs on the left, tucking your pelvis. So really take the lower abs. You can practice this by releasing the pelvis and then tucking it. Releasing it and then use the lower abs to tuck it under. We're also engaging our gluteus medius here to keep the body from tipping over this way. When you activate your gluteus medius, it's going to bring the hip back into alignment. So you should feel a little tension on the side of your glute here in your buttocks. That's the combination of the gluteus medius activating to keep the tilt out of here and the lower abs tucking of the waist. Now we're going to use the upper waist, which is currently turning around in this direction, and we're going to turn it to the right. And that's going to cause the first step. Now with each step that we're going to do, what we're going to do is rotate the upper waist towards the forward leg as we shift weight. And then we're going to turn the upper waist towards the swing leg to swing through. Again, shift weight by turning towards the forward leg and swing through by turning towards the swing leg. Shift weight, turning towards the forward leg, swing through by turning towards the swing leg. Turning towards the swing leg is going to release that leg from the ground. It's going to feel or seem a little counterintuitive because the body's going to turn in the opposite direction from the waist rotation. We begin setting up the motion, turning towards the standing leg, and then turning towards the swing leg. When the inside leg is going forward in the swing, it feels natural. When we do the next step with the outside leg going around, it's going to feel a little strange at first because you're going to turn towards the swing leg and cause the body to rotate in the opposite direction. Continue practicing that motion. You can try to make it smooth and continuous, or you can pause in between steps and feel the rotation. We're going to shift the weight forward. There's no pushing from the glute here. We're really going to be pulling or lifting from the hip flexors as we shift the weight. So I'm going to flex my right hip as I shift my weight, tucking the abs on the left and engaging the glute medius on the left to control this position. You can tell that we're not pushing because I can just lift my leg off the ground. There's no push happening. I'm flexing this hip. But you'll notice you can't finish the motion just by continuing to flex the hip. There's no additional movement that is gained once you've reached this equilibrium position. The only thing you can do to complete the step is rotation of the waist from counterclockwise to clockwise. Now you're going to continue the step around, clockwise rotation of the upper waist, clockwise rotation of the lower waist as you flex your left hip, allowing you to get to this new position. You can check the movement once you get here. Clockwise rotation of upper and lower waist, tuck the abs, that's the lower waist, tucking and rotating clockwise on the right. Upper abs rotating clockwise on the left. Flexing of the left hip. No pushing. If you push, you're going to push yourself over. That's pulling from the left hip. Finish the motion by turning the upper waist to the left, and it's going to cause you to step around. Now change weight again. You can check your position, then rotate. Change weight, check your position, then rotate. You can really feel the rotation of the waist as we do this exercise. You can use your arms to reflect the rotation of the upper waist if you want to try that. Arms are reflecting the rotation of the upper waist so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Now we're going to exit the movement. After stepping forward with your right leg or the inside leg, we are going to rise to a close. Simply from this position, rise up onto your right leg and then close the waist and then shift your weight. Let's look at that in a little bit more detail. When we're stepped out here on the right leg, the upper waist is turning to the right. What we're going to do to rise to the close is turn the upper waist from right to left. We're going to root the right leg and we're going to lift from the right hip. When I say lift from the right hip, I mean we're going to flex the right hip, pulling the weight forward, because that hip flexion from the psoas muscle here is going to pull the upper torso or pull the lumbar spine forward as we flex the hip. And at the same time, we're going to tuck the abs and rotate the upper waist. And that's going to lead to a rising action. Let me show that again. All three core actions are going to be on the right. Waist rotation this way, or the upper waist rotation counterclockwise, lower waist rotation, tucking the abs and turning clockwise, and flexion of the right hip are going to pull the body up to a standing position. Then we're going to use the upper waist and turn it to the right to close, and then now we can just shift our weight into a standing position. So that's one way to exit the exercise. We begin the exercise again. When your inside leg is forward, rise to a close. You can reach forward on the side of that forward leg to try to help feel the rotation of the upper waist as you rise, close, and then shift your weight. Now, how do we take this into a walking action? What we're going to do is this. Let's begin the exercise again. And when you get to the right foot forward, instead of shifting the weight while turning the upper waist towards that right leg, we're going to shift the weight turning the waist towards the rear leg or the left leg. You're going to feel yourself rise a little bit more rather than sinking down as you shift the weight forward. Now we're going to do the same standing up action from this position, rotating counterclockwise here, tucking the abs on the right, and we're going to pull forward from the psoas muscle, the hip flexors right here, and that is going to pull the body into the beginning of your swing through step in normal gait.